Louis Riddick played in this game. He is a proud Pitt alum, and he will be on the call for ESPN Thursday night college football for Pitt in West Virginia. He comes back to Pittsburgh. Louis, you've probably poured into both of these teams. Give it to us. What do you think right now? Finally playing again, how does Pitt stack up against West Virginia?
Well, Pitt stacks up very well against anybody, first and foremost. Pitt has a very unique opportunity this year, I think, to have a very special kind of season, provided all the things that you need to have break your way, break their way, namely with help. But let's just get that out of the way first. I think this could be a special season. As far as this matchup is concerned, I think, look, if you're a team that is intrigued by quarterbacks that were highly recruited at one time, maybe had some bumps in the road as far as their previous stops, obviously with Keaton Slovis at USC and with J.T. Daniels at both USC and Georgia, but are now in places where they may be able to really thrive and cap off their careers before they take a shot at the pros. If you like those kind of stories, then this is the game for you. Because J.T. Daniels was at one time the quarterback of West Virginia, was one of the best quarterbacks in the country as far as his recruiting status coming out of high school. And Keaton Slovis, look, I saw him play as a freshman at USC. And I saw him practice today. And let me just tell you, he is on it, man. And they are fired up about his prospects as far as what he can do, with this football team. Both of these teams have great defensive lines, can get after your passer in a hurry. Both of these teams have veteran offensive lines that, by all accounts, Pitt's offensive line this training camp has been lights out. Absolutely lights out. Now, we'll see how they go up against a foreign opponent or a different opponent, but they've been lights out. And West Virginia returns 5 starters. They're all 5 of their starters from last year's offensive line. Both of these teams have wideouts that can go and take the ball off the top of the rim. They have running backs that provide their teams a lot of depth. Look, man, I don't know. It has just about every storyline that it could possibly have in this game, on top of the fact that it's maybe one of the most bitter rivals. It's not the most bitter rivalry in college football. I know I played in it 4 times. I know what it was like going down to Morgantown from here in Pittsburgh and driving into that stadium and having the people outside your bus feeling like they were going to break through it and try and get on there and snatch you off the bus. That's how pissed off they were that we were even playing the game. This rivalry is special, man. It's special. Pittsburgh is going to be coming out of its skin on Thursday.
Louis,
that's the feeling that you get around here, and I cannot wait.
Louis, what do you hate about them? What do you hate about those Mountaineers?
You know what? Personally, look, you never have anything against them personally, but you know what you hate? If you're a Pitt guy and you go and play there, you just hate how much they hate you, and they don't even know you. They know nothing about you. But these people legitimately, I'm telling you, when I walked out onto the field in 1989, when we were ranked 10th in the country, they were ranked 9th in the country. I walked out on the field with Mark Spindler for warm-ups. And I remember looking at him going, do you see how these people in the stands are yelling at us? Do you see the kind of things they're screaming at me? He's like, dude, this is wild. I was like, I'm telling you, I've never seen that kind of passion, that kind of just buy-in into a rivalry, man. So for me, you just naturally build up, well, they don't like me, I don't like you. And
now, was it classy, Louis? Did they make sure all the insults were appropriate, that they were a PG-rated things they were slinging at you there?
Oh, come on now. Of course they weren't. Of course they weren't. I was only 19 years old, 20 years old at the time.
You probably had family at that game, too. They had to hear all that.
You know what, though? I wouldn't have it any other way. When it comes to just the intensity of the game, I wouldn't have it any other way. And I'm telling you, after for as long as, it's been off 10 or 11 years that they haven't played, and now they're playing again on opening night. We all know that everybody's waiting for college football anyway. People are just waiting for football, period.
Yep.
And now it's opening night. This rivalry, after having been dormant for 10, 11 years, with a team in Pitt that's one of maybe the best teams we've seen this team have in recent years, with I would say a reloaded West Virginia football team that has the ability to maybe surprise some people this year. This game has it all, man. And I'm not just saying that because I'm calling it.
Louis,
I'm saying it because it's the truth.
Louis, when you played in the game, was the low of losing worse than the elation of winning
Now,
was
why
good.
are you bringing that up as a West Virginia guy, him losing that game? Why are you doing that,
The
Crowley?
low of losing. Well, let's just put it this way. Anytime you lose to a rival, yeah, it sticks with you maybe even longer than the wins do. There's no doubt about that. There's no doubt about that. So, and I know this, though for West Virginia, it's the same way. Look, this rivalry has gone back and forth, right? Before I got to Pitt, back in the early 70s, mid-70s, late 70s, 80s, in the Hugh Green, Ricky Jackson days, they used to stomp West Virginia, absolutely stomp them, drag them up and down the field. Then it hit a little bit of a lull. We didn't have a very good record against Pitt. We were 1-2-1. Beat them once, lost them twice, tied them once. So I can't sit here and beat my chest about anything as far as my personal record against this.
Man, that tie must have been weird, Lewis. What do you do after that? Like
I'll
that
tell you what, it was weird, but it felt like a win in some ways, and I'll tell you why. We were ranked 10th, they were ranked 9th. It was on national TV. I believe it was a Thursday night game, as a matter of fact, just like this one is, down in Morgantown. We were getting thumped. They were stomping a hole in us for 3.5 quarters. And then we came back on a furious barrage in the fourth quarter and tied it up. Maybe should have won the game. So it felt like a win to us, basically, because of the way the game started. It felt like a loss to them, I can guarantee you that. Just pull the TV copy of that game and look at the people's face, look at the look of the fans' faces in the stands. They couldn't believe we came back on that game. But that's what makes it beautiful, man. That's what makes it. Look, I can't underestimate this. I cannot understate this enough. ESPN is going full out for the coverage of this game, with game day being here, with all the different TV hits I'm going to do on game day.
Yep.
And then with the coverage. ESPN is going all out. They're going all out because they understand how important this game is to the respective fan bases and how good Pitt's football team can be and how West Virginia maybe is about to rebound this year. You do not want to miss this game, and I promise you there's probably going to be some pregame theatrics because the teams just understand just how tense it's going to be. They understand. And this may be the biggest crowd ever at this stadium over here, over at Heinz Field, Acrisure Stadium, whatever they want to call it now. It may be the biggest crowd to ever watch a football game in this place is what I'm hearing.
Wow.
It's going to be nuts.
Okay.
Nuts.
Lewis, we're talking to Louis Riddick here, great ESPN analyst, front office man in the NFL, Pitt man through and through, going to be there Thursday night for the Backyard Brawl. You said it's going to be a special season. Are you willing to go as far as Desmond Howard, Lewis, who put him in his Final Four on Saturday? When Desmond Howard went there, did you say, Des, I'm right there with you, man?
When he went there, I was like, more power to you, Des. And you know what? If Pitt is able to have that kind of season, I'll be the first one sitting there, cheering my brains out. Look, I don't know. I don't know if I can say I put him in my Final Four. I do know this, though. The stakes have never been higher for Pitt football, simply because they need to prove that last year was not a quote-unquote fluke. Pitt is eager, desperate, like absolutely chomping at the bit to tell people, look, we deserve to be talked about on a national level with the big heavyweights, of college football, like they were at one time. And they quite honestly have the roster that can do it. They have maybe the best defensive line in all of football. 5 returning starters on the offensive line. Well, I'm telling you, people kept telling me they gave the defensive line fits all training camp. And they've got a young quarterback, or not a young quarterback, a transfer quarterback, Keaton Slovis, who like I said earlier.
Yeah.
I watched him personally today. The kid can throw it. I love Kenny Pickett. Everybody in Western Pennsylvania loves Kenny Pickett.
You're talking to his biggest fan, Lewis.
Well, yeah, we may have to fight that one out. But Keaton Slovis looked sharp today. Pitt has no excuse to not have one of those special types of seasons. Who knows where it leads for them. But it all starts on Thursday. You can't win all 12 or 13 of them that they're going to play at one time. They're going to play one at a time. And nothing is bigger than this one. You do not want to start 0-1, and you damn sure, as a Pitt alumni and or Pitt fan, want to start 0-1 having lost to West Virginia in your own house.
You said that the athletes get it. Pat Narduzzi said the other day that Pitt has the best culture in college football. You're around a lot of these programs.
Sure.
You were just talking about the talent that they have. Where do they stack up culture-wise?
Ooh.
Very, very tight-knit team. Look, I was over there at their facility all day today, just observing it all. and just kind of taking it all in, just trying to soak up the attitude of this football team, trying to see what kind of closeness they had, what kind of camaraderie they had, what kind of communication they had on the practice field. It's all there, man. It's all there. This team likes each other. This team's loose. This team is also very much so laser-focused about what it's going to take to win this football game and how they need to play for the man next to them. You can just see it. Look, you can tell when teams are fake. You can tell when guys don't really like each other. You can tell when guys really aren't that close. I've been on those kind of teams. I've also been on the teams that have this kind of closeness. They've got that. There's no question about that. They got the right kind of kids as far as makeup is concerned. Now let's just see how they play together on the football field.
Louis Riddick going to call that huge game Thursday night. He says you're never going to see a crowd like it. A possible attendance record for Pitt, West Virginia. We can't wait to bring it to you Thursday. Louis, you mentioned you're a huge Kenny Pickett fan. I watched you draft night. You were right there with me, so excited for the Steelers to take him. Mm-hmm. Should he be the Steelers starting quarterback week one? Tomlin still won't say he won't name a starter, Louis.
Yeah, I think objectively speaking, Mitchell Trubisky did enough to maintain the depth chart as it is with him starting and Kenny being his backup and maybe Mason Rudolph eventually being dealt somewhere else and or kept on the roster as a number 3. I don't think Kenny plays far and away better than Mitchell to the point where you say, hey, look, yeah, we drafted him number 20 overall, and we should probably just throw him in there because he just totally outplayed Mitchell. I don't think you can say that objectively, and I don't think Mike Tomlin would ever say that. That being said, look, you don't draft him 20th overall in order to sit him on the bench and just kind of let him, collect dust. In due time, Kenny's going to be in there, and he'll be in there this year. But Mitchell Trubisky has looked good this preseason. In the last preseason game against Detroit, he had some nice reps, and he had some nice shots down the field where he threw the football with accuracy and threw the football with confidence, and he showed why he was picked second overall in the draft at one point in time. So they have a nice problem. I don't think quarterback's not going to be the issue with Pittsburgh. They need to make sure their offensive line is solid. Their
I know.
Solid, and they need to be balanced up because if that doesn't happen, then they're going to – look, they may have to use all 3 quarterbacks. They take too many hits. But no, I think the depth chart is what it is right now. It's going to be Kenny's show. We know that. And Pittsburgh knows that too. That's why they drafted him. But for right now, if I was making the decision, yeah, I'd start Mitchell. And I would let Kenny continue to grow, develop his habits, develop his work habits as far as being a professional and what it's going to take. Learn from Mitchell. And when it's due time, you unleash him and let him absolutely just rain hell on the rest of the league because I think that's what he will do. Because that's what Kenny has always done.
Louis, what's impressed you so far with Kenny Pickett? I thought he was going to hang on to the ball a little too long, especially early in his career. And
well, that's the West Virginia fan in you coming out, Crowley.
Well, it's been just the opposite.
You know what? Kenny's football IQ is right where it needs to be in terms of allowing him to play faster than maybe what young players typically play and allowing him to protect himself and make good decisions and be an efficient quarterback and helping his team move the ball down the field. That's always been what Kenny Pickett has been. You saw that process evolve as he went, as his years accumulated in college, capped off by the 2021 season. That was historic for him. And so it doesn't surprise me at all that his poise and his professionalism and his maturity on the football field, albeit in preseason, was what it was, which is something that, look, I don't know if people really gave him enough credit for just how good of a football guy and how football intelligent and how advanced and mature he was. Look, he played a lot of football in Pitt now. He played a lot of football, and he was coached by some damn good football coaches. So no one should be surprised to say, hey, well, Kenny looks very mature out there, and he looks like he's making good decisions and getting the ball out of his hands. Well, no kidding. He had a lot of reps in college. That's how typically it's supposed to go. A lot of times when you see these young quarterbacks and they look like a deer in headlights and they're holding on to the football and skittish in the pocket and have happy feet and throwing the ball in the coverage, although they have wonderful talent, guess why that happens? They haven't seen a whole lot. They haven't played a whole lot in football. Maybe they're leaving in college. Maybe they're leaving after 1 year of being a starter, 3 years of 3 years of total college football, and they're not ready to go. Kenny's ready to go. He's ready to go, and he'll be even more ready with a little bit more seasoning. So nothing should surprise you about how he's playing right now. I get the feeling that in due time, a lot of BS that was being thrown around about him pre-draft.
Oh, like the small hands crap.
Not being a high upside player and not being worthy of a first-round pick. There's going to be a lot of people going, damn, we messed that up.
Yep, I totally agree, Louis. How about what you said there about, you said the quarterback's 3. Might need 3 this year. So if you were calling the shots, it sounds like you would probably keep Mason Rudolph. Am I right to say that?
You know what? I think I would. I'm not saying that to disparage their offensive line in terms of they're potentially getting all this.
Well, I'll say it for you, Louis. I don't like what I see from those guys.
Yeah.
I'm very concerned.
No, I get it. I get it. Look, they have tried very hard. They knew it was a problem going into the 2022 season, and they tried to address it. And they're going to need to continue to develop it and work through it. No doubt about that. I think it's probably something that they're discussing right now as far as how do we want to comprise that room. Do we want to be safe, play it safe, and go with 3 guys? Mason's a good guy for this football team. He'd be good for Kenny. He'd be good for Mitchell. And be good for us in the event that we need him. I'm sure they're having that discussion. And I wouldn't be shocked if he is on this football team.
Louis, you were interviewed for the Steelers' general manager job. Was there ever a point where you thought to yourself, you know what, I'm going to be the man for the job?
You're always hopeful. You're always confident in, how you represent yourself and what your plan would be, and and optimistic about how conversations went. Sure, but it didn't happen. So and look, man, what's so interesting about me in particular is because I'm on TV and I'm constantly talking about philosophies and players and team building and and when you have to praise people, you also have to be critical. People always think that anytime I'm critical, then it's because, oh, you're just mad you didn't get this job, or you're just mad. Man, I'm good. I have a great job. I have a great job that pays me a lot of money and really takes great care of my family, and I get to work with great people. Of course, you're disappointed when you're not able to do something that maybe was a career goal of yours, like be a general manager and build a football team. Build a football team for a franchise like the Steelers in a great city like Pittsburgh. But it's not the end of the world when it doesn't happen. And you move on. And here I am calling this game Thursday night, back in this city, where I went to school, where I became basically the adult I've become. I couldn't be happier, and I have no ill will at all towards Pittsburgh, the Pittsburgh Steelers, the Rooney. None of that. But it was a great experience. And look, I'm a big fan of Mike Tomlin. I'm a huge fan of Kenny Pickett. I love this freaking city. That's why I came here early for this game. I just want to be in the city. I just want to be around. That's why I just hung out at the Pitt facility today. And just hung out, and because I was just like, man, this is home for me. This is where it all began for me, really, as an adult. And I'm going to call this game down the middle. Make no mistake about that. I'm a pro at what I do. But man, this game, I could not be more. We, as a college football crew, we hit the jackpot with this game. I have goosebumps literally sitting here when I'm sitting here trying to pick the right words, thinking about what is the scene going to look like around the stadium all day on Thursday.
And Louis, you called Monday Night Football. You've done the big games, and it sounds like you're more juiced for this than any Monday Night Football game. Is what it sounds like.
It's just different. Look, Monday Night Football is iconic. Okay, Monday Night Football is like one of those things where, as an announcer, when you put the headset on and you're getting ready to do the open, and in your ears you hear the Monday night theme start getting played, you almost have tears come to your eyes because you start thinking back to your childhood when you're listening to, Frank Gifford and Don Meredith and Howard Cosell, and you're going, I'm actually sitting here calling a game for the same brand and the same iconic media franchise that called some of the great games ever with some of the greatest players ever. I mean, that's surreal to me. This is a different kind of emotion. This game is going to capture all of the pageantry that people come to expect when it comes to college football. This is the band, the yellow pom-poms, the colors, the youth of the game, almost the innocence of the game, although it's becoming more, professionalized, every year. But the youth of the game, the innocence of the game. Just kids who are in college trying to go to class right now, earn a degree, who are also playing a game, that generates millions and millions of dollars and millions of fans watching with such invested interest on TV and live at this stage. Look, they put on sale like some standing room only tickets I heard, and they were gone. And by the time they made them available, they were gone.
Yep. Oh, I know.
Such a thirst for the game, for the tickets for this game. I just want, you know what? I just want to see the scene around the stadium, like what people are going to be like around the stadium. Because you know what West Virginia fans say about Pitt and that nice little, catchy little moniker, eat whatever Pitt. I can't say it on the radio. And you're going to see tons of people saying hail to Pitt. It doesn't get any better than that. I just want to experience it. And that's why I'm going over to the stadium early on Thursday. Early. We're going to be doing a lot of TV over there, but I'm going over early because I just want to be around all of it. And when it kicks off, I'm going to be coming out of my skin. And I'm going to have to tell myself, stop talking, just let the game play, because the game's going to sell itself, man. This is going to be one to remember, and that's not just a sales pitch. That's a fact. These are good football teams with some highly explosive players in a rivalry that is second to none. I got Hugh Green texting me saying, hey, man, we're going out to dinner tomorrow night. You're coming out with me and Jimbo, and Danny's going to be here, Marino and Dorsett and all these guys. And I'm sitting there going, stop it. I can't take all this.
You better not let Major Harris burst in there and try to break that party up.
Hey,
Lewis, tell him to stay home.
I played against Major a couple times. I don't want to see him. He gives me nightmares.
Damn straight.
He gives me nightmares. Reggie Rembert gives me nightmares. James Jett gives me nightmares. Eugene Napoleon gives me nightmares. Ronaldo Turnbull, they give me nightmares. These guys were studs. Absolute studs, all of them.
Lewis.
Great. That's what college football is all about.
It's so cool to have you on. Anytime you come back to Pittsburgh, we'd love to maybe get you in sometime. We'll order you some Permanis and we'll hang out and talk ball, okay?
It's a date, man. Just let me know. I'll be there.
Let's go. Woo. Thank you, Lewis.
All right, guys.
Thank you.